Well, hey there, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Island Church Weekly Podcast. I am joined as ever by Pastor Will. Pastor Will, how you doing today, man? How's this week going for you?
Well, there's a lot of good things ahead of us. Had a super sunny this past week, and the weather is amazing.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. This is literally the time of year where I'm just like, yeah, there's nowhere else in the world.
Yeah,
But
this is why we do Florida.
No. Yeah, this is why we do Florida, my friend. That is for sure. All right, so you said Island Church Sunday was great. What was awesome about it? Give me some of the rundown of what you on, and then what the crowd was like.
It was good. I mean, we Sandy and the team just did a great job with our music as usual, and just a sweet spirit there among our people. And then we had Ryland Brand. I think Ryland's 9 now. Just went over the crowd. I told him, I said, just trying to take my job. I mean, except he can sing too. And he can preach. I've watched him at his house. I've watched him do some things. Yeah. He preach. He could take the offering. He can do the announcements. He can do the whole package. But anyway, he just did a super job, and just so thankful for Ryland and his brother and sister and mom and dad, the whole Brand family. And so that was just really good. And then I was preaching the last sermon and on John chapter 4, dealing with the woman at the well and the Samaritan woman there. And I talk about some of the transformation that happened, but it really happened because Jesus had a connection with her. And what we really tried to do is talk about the importance of that and the transformation that will take place. And then we tied that into our building. But we had Marsha and Jeff Fox share their story. If you weren't here, go back, go to YouTube and find this and listen to the service. It will bless you front to back. And they tell the story of their son. They tell the loss of a child when she was in college, and then the story of a son that had some strained relationship. I won't try to speak for them. You can just listen to the words. And there were some wounds there because life just brings wounds. We think about the whole situation with just life in general, and particularly with the situation with Charlie Kirk last week. That's more on people's own minds, right? And so people get wounded, and even the guy that carried out the shooting. And then what do we do with this? And then how do we wound people when we're wounded? There's all saying hurting people hurt people. And so that's what was happening. And yet Jason had a transformation in his life. They were able to tell about that story. And we shared a little video, about 45 seconds of his baptism service. He was a big old barrel-chested lineman at the University of South Florida a few years back. And so to see me baptized is just a great thing. So anyway, just appreciate Jeff and Marsha sharing the story, and Jason giving his approval for that. That was a great thing. And then we had, I think we probably had 6 guests from Eckerd, or at that age, I think several of them were Eckerd students. And that just reminds me, Matt, when we get this facility built and we have this kind of the Cove, this coffee shop kind of atmosphere, hangout kind of place with a porch and stuff. Yeah. This, and I'm gonna let you speak to it just a second, because I talked about Third Place, which you and I've talked about, but the need for young people to have a place like that, because the studies tell us they're not spending as much money on alcohol. They're not going out, whether it's financial or whatever reason. And so they need a place. And so we have an opportunity to be that place, not just for children on the island and the surrounding islands, right, or adults, but actually the college students out there. So, right, don't you think we're on the right target?
Yeah, we are absolutely on the right target. I mean, if you look at anything, there's an old famous kind of interview with the CEO of Starbucks where he talks about we don't actually sell coffee, right? Like Starbucks doesn't sell coffee; they sell connection. They sell an opportunity to be in a place where people can mingle and get work done and meet to talk about life, and they pop in on the go, and it just becomes this place that's part of their everyday rhythms and routines. And when we're able to have the church or have the people of God be part of the everyday routines of people on the island, that's when you start to build real familiarity, which leads to real relationships, right? And that those relationships allow people to actually see Jesus at a personal level. That's what we always talk about, right? Is like at the end of the day, we do all the marketing stuff we want, but the best way for people to experience Jesus is through the arms of a trusted friend, right? Yep. And so a third space gives us that opportunity to have daily or weekly proximity with folks that maybe we don't know already, build relationships that allow those relationships to lead them to Jesus. So the third place, while corporations are using it to make money, we see it as an opportunity to say, hey, this is God's way of leveraging relationships to lead people closer to Jesus.
Yeah, it's a great thing. I mean, the people that in that situation, you go back and listen to the story of Jason Fox, and he got kind of dared to be a part of a singing group, a men's new singing group, and they had no idea of the strained relationships. They had no idea that it's going to be life transforming for him. They just were offering something else. But as we create these opportunities for people to engage, and particularly engage around us, and in kind of a less than formal church setting, let's say it that way. That's just gold for us. And so I think that's what Jesus had conversations as he went. In today's world, we don't tend to have those conversations. We tend to go inside our house, not be overly dependent upon each other. We go in our big box at work, and even more people sometimes are working at home. It's not even get out that way. And so it's really important for us to get this done. So let me give you a few things that's coming. We're happy to have JJ Tarter back this week. She's restarting our handbells, particularly getting ready toward the Christmas season. So if you have experience in ringing, or you would like to learn to ring, they're actually having a workshop this coming Saturday. And I believe that's at 9:00. You certainly can, when you get this message, you listen to this podcast, give a call to Stacy, or look at something. Maybe it's probably printed in something that we would send out to you. So take a look at that. And men, women, it was just such a joy last year to watch them, and I think they had big fun and together. So that was a good thing. So that's coming up this Saturday, and then of course we're getting ready for Trunk or Treat. Put that on your calendar. Tell Marsha Fox, hey, count me in for my car. There'll be some other people that can help you decorate it, but tell her, hey, I'm in. And if you're interested in things like setup or tear down, or helping with cooking, or we're going to do some things. I don't know if we're going to do grilled cheeses or hot dogs or something like that. Then let Stacy know. So between Stacy and Marsha, we're going to get this thing coordinated, and that's just always a good fun for internally towards our people, and certainly it's a way to connect with our community as well. So that's coming up. We got this dream with this building. I'm gonna go ahead and close this out here just about in terms of praying. We just need to have people in our minds and our hearts, and we need to engage with the people around us. Jesus could ignore that Samaritan woman and no one would have said a word. Actually, they said a word because he didn't ignore her, right? So that was a surprise. But people are in need. You never know what their situation is. We have a chance to bring the hope of Christ and the healing of Christ, and the hope for this future, and a healing for our sin problems that we cause ourselves, and actually the problems that other people cause us as well. And so the church has been entrusted uniquely. There's a lot of great organizations out there, but there's only one, his church. Not just our church, but his church, and he's entrusted his mission and the message of Christ to the church, and he will sustain his church. One of my mentors said, actually, one of the testimonies of the reality of Jesus and God's power is that in spite of itself, the church has survived 2,000 years.
Yeah.
Because we know we're going to make some mistakes, and we're human, and it has. And people are going to get hurt by church. We understand that. That's the reason we need this third place. We need this extra building space to have conversations and connections with people. So that's just pray. We're going to need about another $1.5 million in addition to what we have committed. And I encourage you, if you've committed towards the fund, then our building, and it's not just a building, you're committing toward the mission of the church. It's just going to take the shape of a building. And then we're thankful for what has been given. We look forward to seeing what God's going to do and who he's going to use. But maybe you're looking at stock. Sandy and I have given stock because stock prices are up. Maybe you're looking at giving a house. We've had that done. You're giving some particular item. There's lots of different ways. But you just pray earnestly. We have the hope. People are looking. Those 4 concerts didn't just happen here 6 of them happened here by accident.
Yeah.
We have the opportunity. I'm a little excited about that, Matt. So
I think I am too. That's pretty amazing. And I think God's up to some very cool stuff at the church, and excited for all the ways people can be a part of that. So Pastor Will, thank you so much for sharing your heart today. Thanks for the way you lead us well. And thank you all for watching the Island Church Weekly